Hey Drew, thank you so much for chatting today. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's been a good morning, a very peaceful morning, I feel.
Oh, brilliant. Hey, so what have you been up to during lockdown?
Um the honest answer is a whole lot of nothing, really. Um I've been surrounded by some good friends, which is nice. I've been trying to read and watch movies, trying to write as much as possible, but in all honesty, I mean, not too much. I mean, just kind of been hanging out and I don't know, burrowing in for sure.
Yeah. So, what is it that you enjoy the most about acting?
That is a good question. I'd say so. I guess I come from more of a theater background, and I think what I enjoyed most about doing it was the feeling of like being with a troupe of people, being with a group, and I don't know, learning about yourself from other people within your cast and crew. I think the team aspect of acting is like my absolute favorite part. It's the most rewarding. It's what I get the most from, I think.
And have you always known that you wanted to be an actor? Is that, when you were little, that was what you knew you wanted to do? Or,
No, I mean, I think when I was a kid, sure, I think that there was like this idea. So I'm from North Carolina originally, and there's not a lot of people that growing up who are actors. So I knew I loved movies and I loved going to see theater, but I didn't. There was never like a possibility in my head as a profession. Like I didn't think that people were allowed to do that. It just seemed so other to me. But I guess I got to probably around like 18 or 19 at that very weird crossroads in your life, and I kind of just decided to go for it. So that I think that's when I finally made the commitment. I was like, okay, I'll try to go for it.
yeah, cool. So what do you do to help you relax, unwind? What do you do to help with your well-being?
Um, it's something that I'm definitely trying to learn how to be better at is relaxing and unwinding. And this period specifically, I think, has really honestly helped me with that because I'm one that typically gets a little more anxious if I don't have any work to do. Um, so this has been like forced relaxation in a strange way. But I don't know. I listen to a lot of music. Um, Music is like something that I listen to every day that I think gets me in a headspace and helps. And I've been like journaling a lot and just trying to write, trying to get my thoughts out onto a page and where I can see them has been really helpful. So yeah, those two things have really helped me throughout this period relax for sure.
So are you someone like after you had a busy day or week or, been on set long hours, are you someone who recharges their batteries by, um, going off and being by yourself, or are you someone who likes to still hang around with a whole lot of your friends?
I'm I like to be entirely by myself. I like to be alone. I feel like I guess I lean more along like the introvert spectrum, I guess. Um, so I definitely have like this this limit to my social abilities. So I definitely need to be alone for like extended periods of time to like recharge my social batteries.
Yeah.
Um, which which is it's great. I mean, I live alone, so it's like that all the time. But yeah, I don't know. I when we first started quarantining together, we were all kind of in one space, which was nice. Um, but yes, I like to very much be alone at the end of the day.
So I can see behind you, you've got a whole stack of books. You're obviously
Yeah.
somebody who enjoys reading. What are you reading now, and what's it about?
I actually just finished. what did I just finished reading The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin, which was a book club pick by my friend Clark Moore. And it's kind of about the relationship between like religion and race relations in the United States. James Baldwin is one of my favorite writers. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. And then I've also got, what do I have there? Oh, I've started reading Buried Child by Sam Shepard, a play. I love Sam Shepard. He's also brilliant. But yeah, so those are two things that I'm reading right now.
Fantastic. So what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? Can be about anything.
Best piece of advice. This is such a hard question. Oh man. Okay, so I actually just said this recently to someone. It's kind of, I guess it's more of an bit of acting advice, but it's definitely transitioned into my real life as well. But I had an acting teacher, Claire I. It was in my acting 2 class in college, and you're sent up on stage to do, it's a lot of monologue work. So it's just you on stage, and you're giving this piece to your fellow students, and you're failing, and Claire comes down and directs you. And so I had a monologue where I'm like, it's very emotional, and I'm giving a lot of emotion to the audience, and I'm feeling a lot. And she stops me, in the middle of it, and I'm kind of coming out of it. And she walks down and she was like, it's not hitting. And I was like, okay, what do I need to do? I was like, I don't understand, because I'm feeling everything. Like, I feel like I'm there. And she's like, she said something that stuck with me. She said, and I'm sure it's been told to other actors in variation, but she said, no one cares if you're having a moment on stage. They care if they're having a moment.
I love it.
And that was kind of like the levee broke a bit in my mind, and I was like, oh, and it took the ego out of it a bit, I think, for me as an actor. I mean, I think you're constantly having to like fight your ego in this profession. So that's kind of transitioned into my real life as well. I think it's allowed me to focus more on other people than myself. So
yes.
Thank you, Claire.
So have you got a favorite quote?
A favorite quote. I'm trying to think of something without profanity.
Oh,
There's a quote by Walt Whitman, I think, and I think it's like, I've learned to be with those I like is enough. And that's obviously an important, it's one that's always stuck. Walt Whitman's one of my favorite writers. And I think we talked about, I am more of an introvert, and I think that it's helped me to realize that, like, just being around good friends is really like all you need in this life. And just don't surround yourself with people that suck, I guess.
Absolutely. Life is too short.
Yes.
Yes. So who is someone that you admire and look up to, and why?
I admire a lot of people. I admire a lot of my family. Both my parents, I think, I admire the most in a lot of different ways. I just think in terms of they really balance work ethic and their ability to love very well. So a lot of like very unspoken lessons that I've learned from them. So yes, definitely both my parents.
Hey, look, so a huge congratulations on Outer Banks. So it's a massive hit. You play Rafe, who, let's say, is a very complex character, putting it nicely. So yeah. Why do you think the show has been so popular?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of kind of whatever magic formula happens, I think it's worked. It's been balanced, but I think it's interesting. It's strange to say that it's hit during this time. We're obviously in a pandemic, and there are a lot of people who were going through a lot. But I think what our show does offer, and this is something that we said when we were making it, is like it's the ultimate form of escapism, and I think a lot of people need that right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think it's offered that, and there was, it hit in the spring, or at least, in the northern hemisphere, it hit in the spring, and I think a lot of people were longing for that feeling of summer, and so there's like a bit of nostalgia to it that I think people are getting from. So yeah, so many factors though, I think, play into it, but just overwhelmingly grateful and thankful that people are watching it and like it. You do so many times you do things that people don't see, and you pour your heart into it. So it's been like overwhelmingly beautiful to see the amount of love that people are giving us.
And it's different age groups who are also watching it as
Yeah.
well. I mean,
My youngest sister, who's in middle school, she's been watching it with her friends, and then my parents' friends, or I have like uncles, and my grandpa was watched the show, and it's like it is strange to like not really be able to nail down a too specific like demographic. So it's been nice to like reach a wide audience for sure.
so what was a typical, well, if you can say typical, what was a day like on set for you normally?
A lot of run and gun, a lot of like, so Jonas and Josh and Shannon, who are the showrunners, they like to work like, really fast. It feels like you're like going to practice, like a sports practice or something.
Oh, wow.
So you get on set, and yeah, it's just very fast. They're really long days. We would all kind of meet up in our trailers, I think, before, and kind of, rehearse as much as possible before we had to go out there. But yeah, very fast paced, very energetic, super exciting, but a lot of like very long days. But luckily we had like this is the best crew that I've ever worked with before. Like everyone on the crew is so incredible what they do. Just, it's amazing what can happen when you like work with people who are like real pros. So
Makes
yeah.
a difference.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
So are you able to say anything about season 2?
Yeah, so fine. So we announced it like this morning, like a couple hours ago. So it's interesting that we're having this interview now, or we're talking now. Yeah, that's about all I can say, is that it's happening. I'm not sure when. I don't have any dates or anything like story-wise that I can divulge.
Everybody's been waiting for the official announcement. Everyone's just been, so that's, congratulations. That is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited to get back for sure.
Yeah. So have you got any other projects that are coming out shortly, or anything else you've got lined up?
I have, besides season 2, I mean, obviously it's a strange time for all industries. So, nothing too in the books. I did another film for Netflix called The Devil All the Time that should be coming out in a few months. But other than that, no, just looking forward to getting back for season 2.
The Devil All the Time. So that's got some pretty big names attached to it as well. So that's quite exciting.
Yeah, I got to, it's interesting because I shot that, like, I got to shoot that before I even auditioned for Outer Banks. So it's been a long like post-production process, but an incredible story. And I play, a much smaller role in it, but it was like such a joy to work with some of those people in that movie.
So is that looking at coming out this year?
I think so. Yeah, it's projected to. Still some things up in the air, but yeah, very excited to see that too. I haven't seen much of it at all.
Watch this space. Hey, so what advice would you give to somebody who's wanting to become an actor, or somebody who is just getting into the profession?
Oh boy. It's so interesting because like I came into it knowing nothing, and I feel like I still know nothing. Like I still feel like I'm trying to learn how to do this. Um, I think learning how to, I think it's so important not to be afraid and not to be nervous, or try not to be. So really trying to seek out failure on purpose, I think has been the most important thing for me. I mean, I went to school for it, and it can be in the form of classes or doing plays with your friends or something. But I think it's it's incredibly important to learn how to fail. Yeah, go out and embarrass yourself, really fall on your face and learn how to like pick yourself up from that, because you need some armor in this industry. So, and drink water, drink a lot of water. I don't know. Stay
Hey,
hydrated.
hey, Drew, thank you so much for taking the time out to chat today. It has been a pleasure, and I look forward to watching season 2 along with everyone else when it comes out.
No, thank you for having me, Belinda. I mean, I think it's so admirable what you're doing. We were talking before, and my mom works in education. She's a school counselor, so I think it's something close to my heart. So, yes, I'll be sharing this with people, and thank you so much.
Thank you.